Tonight I'm going to be interviewing Doc Rock. He's a content creator, a YouTuber, a live streamer. He lives in Hawaii. And tonight we're going to be talking about the essentials that you need to start with Ecamm Live. So let's get the fun started. Woo! We're getting the fun started with Doc Rock.
What's happening, brother?
What's happening?
I'm just laughing at random people in the comments, like Carmen. Hi, Carmen. Carmelita.
Hey,
Everyone's
everyone.
here. Our crew is here. It's nice. How you doing?
Yes. So, hope everyone's well. Smash the like button. Today we're going to be talking about the essentials for live streaming with Ecamm. And if you don't know what Ecamm is a live streaming software that is lit. It's so amazing. And the funny thing is, I have been using Ecamm longer than Doc.
True story. 100% true story.
I started using Ecamm like 2018.
That's so crazy. 2018, I was playing with OBS, hating every minute of it.
I was playing with OBS from like 2015 to 2018. Then I went to Ecamm, vMix, and then Ecamm, and I still have vMix. But yeah, both.
Yeah, I remember those days of beating around in Wirecast Pro, and I was just laughing at all of the people that had to use things lesser. And I was like, wait a minute. Wirecast Pro is a pain in the butt. Sorry, Telestream. Don't get mad.
So
Sponsor
let's
Sammy.
get started. What is the best Mac for Ecamm Live? The best Mac.
Honestly, in theory, the one you got. But if I had to tell someone to buy a system right now, it'd probably still be the M1, just because of bang for the buck price. M1 Mini, that is. Bang for the buck price, like the whole 9 yards, which you can get out of it. Now, it does take some patience as an early adopter. And I think the things that people run into it has to do with trying to use it for more than a dedicated machine. I mean, at the price it is, it's a dedicated machine. Install Ecamm and maybe Zoom if you got to. But other than that, leave it alone. Like, don't be installing all kind of weird stuff. Just install that and leave it alone. Yeah, that's the answer.
Don't use it and like put thousands of photos and
Yeah, you don't want to do that. Like, as a dedicated machine, like the same way you would use a hammer or a screwdriver, then it will behave probably the way you want it to behave. And like, even it's funny. One of the in the community, one of the common questions is, "Oh, I need this hub or that hub because I want to put these peripherals on." And I was like, "Nah, man, you kind of need two monitors. I always will need two monitors. I'm weird like that. You need a keyboard, a mouse, and a microphone and a camera. That's it. Stop from there." But then everybody's like, "Oh, but I want to install my printer." Like, it's a dedicated streaming machine. What are you printing? You can print
and
from your
that's why
phone
you
now.
have two machines.
Yeah.
So you can still use your bad 16-inch that overheats and use your M1 that
Yeah.
is mostly quiet. It still has
It's
fan
like, I
noise.
have a 20, say somebody says, I have a 2012 like MacBook Air or whatever. Yeah, use that for your regular typing and working and blogging
Yeah,
and all of that stuff. On the mini, leave it the heck alone. Let it stream. Let it stream. Let it
let it
stream.
stream. And the thing is,
Uh,
I have thousands of Macs, so I could use different Macs. And we will
I
get
find that to
in
be so funny.
what?
That you just have this Mac collection. I mean, there's the 2009 back there, which acts as my, just
Oh, I was like
background.
curious. Is that like a newer iMac or a 2009?
It's a 2009 iMac, like flat E. I mostly use it just to have something back there when I'm streaming. And then over here, there's a lampshade, um, I don't even forget when that thing came out. Like 2003, is it? No, it's after that. When did the lampshade come out? I don't even remember. I can't believe I don't remember.
Which
Anyway,
one is the
it's
lampshade one? The
the white biscuit with the looks like baby Luco lamp.
yeah.
In Hawaii, we call it a
Oh
matapua.
yes, with
Yeah,
with the funny ad.
yeah, it's a matzo ball mac.
Yeah.
There you go. That's easier for an East Coast person.
And what do you do with your like 2020 iMac that you paid a lot of money for?
It's my master machine. That's where all the
Ah,
work comes from. You know what I mean? Like creating everything with Canva or Photoshop, Illustrator, even Final Cut. Like Final Cut on the Mini is way faster, um, but I don't want to clog it, so I do all of that stuff on here because it is like a lot faster. But I mean, at the end of the day, you're making a 10-minute YouTube video. You're not making a movie. If I had to sit down possibly and do a long project that was going to require lots of rendering, I might do it on the Mini. But I'm trying to let the Mini just be the streaming machine. And it's hard because it's fast, and it's like, oh, I could do this much faster if I was over there. But leave it alone. Just leave it alone. It'll be fine.
leave it. Okay. What is the best mic when you are starting out with Ecamm? The best. When you're
The
just like getting started.
absolute best. Just getting started. A Samsung Q2U can be faded. $50, USB and XLR. Sounds fantastic. Made out of steel. No plastic weird stuff. Yeah, like it's really, really hard to beat. And I'm surprised at how many people, because they don't know any better. Maybe people see it and they look at, because they sell it at Best Buy. So it's not like you don't see it. It's right there next to when you're about to buy a Yeti. They're side by side. But I think people look at it and go, oh, for $50 or 59 as it is at Best Buy, oh, maybe it's not good. Wrong. 10 times better. Like it is the bomb. And I get the other gaming ones like the Wave and the HyperX and what does Razer call that thing? Begins with an S. Anyway, the Razer. I think people look at them and they see the style and they go, "Oh, these must be great." All of those suckers are plastic, bro. That the Samsung Q2U is steel. It can be used as a weapon too. Not Samsung, Carmen, Samson. SAMSON.
It's like a 58.
It looks exactly like an SM58. Yeah, so let me fix this before people start looking for a Samsung. They go
I'm
looking for that.
trying
You're gonna get a
because I
phone
have
that
like
catches on
10
fire.
SM58s, but like
I
this
have my
is
Samsung right here.
this is another, but this is a sure heavy duty live vocal mic. What?
Yeah, everybody has touched an SM58 at one point when you get called up to the thing at work or
And
you go
today, blah 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 blah
yeah, you go
blah.
to the podium at a wedding, someone hands you something SM58 oriented. You just don't realize it. This is a Samsung Q2U. It's basic. Ow. Ow, that hurt. Again, it's steel. It's both XLR and USB. Hide the face. So there's the XLR right here, the USB port right here on the top, headphone jack in the bottom, on and off switch. Comes with XLR cable, USB cable, foam like protector thing, the whole 9 yards. Like this is the business. Samsung, you know, it's mighty. Just don't cut its hair.
The problem with the problem
Thank you,
with
Evan. That's what I was trying to say. The Razor siren. Yeah, I was
the
trying to
one
remember what the heck.
problem with
Go
the
ahead.
Samsung Q2U that I didn't like is I got one, I had it for a yearish, and the whole uh XLR and USB came out.
Came out, came out.
Yes. So you could
So,
see the wires.
so what that is, and it makes sense, but I'm sure. See at the end,
Yeah.
there's three Phillips screwdriver thingies, right?
Yeah.
So if you loosen those or they get shaken around because you backpack it. Like I carry this in my bag because I never know when I might need to do something. So it's always in my bag. So yeah, like if you move it around a lot, it's not just sitting on your desk. You might want to
Yeah.
periodically tighten that. Knowing how much you plug and unplug and disconnect and rearrange your stuff and plug in new stuff, you probably just shook the screws loose. But a thing that you can do if you first get it and you want to make sure it's safe, back the screw out, put a little dab of super glue on it and screw it back in on all three, and they'll never come out
Yeah.
until you're ready for them to come out.
Why?
That was a Sammy special because you always I know you're always unplugging and plugging and rearranging and trying new stuff, which is good. That's how you learn, right? It's a
Yeah.
twinker or a remember, but yeah, yeah.
Why is Ecamm the best software for streamers on Mac?
You, Carmen, David Hunt, let's see, Pastor Keith, Linwell, Elise, Diana, India, David Blackman, Kim Bucha. Man, the list is long, bro. There's 15,000 reasons that makes it better than everybody else. Our community is pure fire. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's hard to describe that to someone that's not in it. Like, if you're just outside and you comparing features, I mean, let's not get it twisted. At the end of the day, if all you want to do is what we're doing right now, two cats come on, have a conversation, stream, there's not too much things moving around, not too much bells, not too much whistles, just a general conversation between, Yoda and the Padawan. All of the streaming software can do that. Every single one. Yardbird, Restream, Ecamm, OBS, Wirecast, Slobs, all of the above. But if you're trying to do something on a higher level, you're going to want to be able to not just turn the software on and make it work. That's easy. Like all kinds of softwares can just work. But you need to have a vibrant community where people conversate and share ideas and, push the needle and push each other and try to, come up with better ways to do things or more than one ways to skin a cat, like all of the above. I mean, don't skin any cats, but it's a colloquialism. People are weird. Um, so I think that aspect of it is what makes it legit. Like I literally come down to the studio, pop open the browser to see what my friends got to say. Message from Elo, message from Elaine. Today Pastor Keith was, "Hey, I'm just going out for a ride, man. I'm looking for something that will give me better stability on the on-bike camera." And it's like, oh, GoPro versus like the iPhone up there. That kind of stuff. I guess as a tweaker, always messing with stuff, I appreciate the fact that people are trying things that aren't supposed to be done. You know, Cats like Jim Carroll, who says, "All right, gang, if you're going to green screen, let me show you how to actually do it. Let me green everything in my room." I mean, the table is green, the chair is green, like the whole 9 yards. That brother could just walk around in a Millennium Falcon with the press of a button because he set his entire thing up with about 5,100 lights and green everything. His mouse is green. Like, so it all disappears. So he's just, in a virtual space. Like, you gotta love stuff like that. That's amazing, boss.
Okay, great. So, if you have a budget of $500 for a mic,
Ooh.
you saved up, you get viewers, you get everything, and you are pretty big, you want to invest, what do you think are your top 3 mics for live streamers for $500 if they could go all out $500?
Okay. First, I'm going to say the Shure SM7B. Just it's just something about it, bro. It has a very certain je ne sais quoi. It has a certain like warmth and deliciousness that just it has a sound. It just does. After that would probably be the AKG C214 or 414. The primary difference in the 24, actually, you can't get a 414 because that's over. But it's basically the difference between the two is one speaks one way, one speaks both ways. Other than that, they're generally the same. But the AKG C214, it comes in correct. And then the last one would probably be a Telefunken. What is it? TF82. I don't even know if that fits. I gotta double check. See, that was a tough question. That was a tough question. Does it fit? Dun, dun, dun. Come on. Yeah. Anyway, let me just see.
Or I would say also, Warm Audio has a nice mic for $500-ish.
The 251. I thought the 251 is like $700.
I have that microphone, but I have a lot of microphones, but you could get a Warm Audio for like, there's one for $300.
Oh, that's not bad. That's
And
not
then
bad.
there's one that is the Warm Audio 14 large diaphragm condenser. So that could work too.
Yeah. Or the Lewitt comes in pretty
Yeah,
handy at that price. Like the Lewitt is fairly legit.
and it sounds nice, and it's like they make different ones, but there's $100 one, $200 one, and also if you do a lower end mic that sounds pretty good, you can invest in a nice mic cable, headphones, a preamp. If you don't want a Rodecaster
That's
Pro,
true too. That's true. The other one I was thinking of was the M82, not TF82. It's the M82. Yeah. Like all of those would do good. And the thing about mics at that level, you will have those suckers for 15,
many
20
years,
years.
yeah.
Yeah. They're not going anywhere. I don't think people know that. Once you pass the $300 mark, you're probably going to have a microphone that lasts basically forever. A lot of the higher end ones like that will come with like 10-year warranties, but it's weird how $50 cheaper and you got a 90-day warranty made out of plastic, designed to look like it's professional gear, but it ain't. Oh, you know what? I know what. I forgot one, Sammy, because then you don't have to buy anything extra, and that would be the Shure MV7.
MV7.
Okay, thank you, because I got stuck. Yeah, I think that one would do pretty good, and I'll let you know soon. This I don't even know where I put it. It's in here somewhere. Where'd it go? This guy's for just under 400, and I'll know soon if it sounds great. But I am desperately seeking Susan to find something for all the people that insist on not listening to me and trying to hide their mic.
Yes. Like,
Junaid. He
no.
started it.
Like Gloria, because she hides
Yeah,
her
she
mic.
said she was going to change something soon, so I don't know what she got, but
But I
I
watch her
am.
streams every day, and she hasn't changed it.
Yeah,
That's the funny thing.
yeah. This might help her out. So if it does, she'll be the first person. Hey, listen, lady, you can you can get a Diddy S Mike S2. Lovely name. I love microphone companies. I swear they just take all the names, put them in the bucket, throw it across the room, and whichever ones are face up, that's what they call it.
And they switch around famous mics, like a U87 to like the TU7. Like they switched it around.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing about U87s is they're so popular on the high end that there's a bunch of people that make things that look like U87s is nowhere
Yes,
near
but they are
close.
not.
But they got people thinking like, oh, this must be good because it looks like a U87. One of the original Samsungs that came out was like that, but no, that's not the
Which
same.
one?
What was it called? It's kind of gold. I had one. Oh my god, see something O2. I had one. It looked exactly like a U87, but it won't it. That's kind of
Oh,
funny.
C.
Um, it's old. I don't even think they make it anymore.
I think C. Samson CO2.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's a pencil condensed mic.
Yeah, that's what it is now. But the old name of it looked like a U87. They were gold brushed, had a little USB connect. Even M Audio had one. It looked like a U87, but it ain't close. So just because it looks like a U87 does not a U87 it make. You know how you know when it's a U87 when it costs $4 grand. That's the dead giveaway. If it don't cost $4 grand, it's ain't a U87.
It's
Period.
no U87. But the
Not even
U87
close.
is the best mic. Not the best, but it's a great sounding mic.
Oh yes, absolutely, absolutely. And it's funny because you can get low end mics that sound good, but when you hear the difference between one and a high end mic, you're like, oh, that's what they're talking about. And we could explain it to you till you're blue in the face, but you will not understand it. No matter how many times I tell people about actual real deal in Japan Wagyu, they'll be like, "Ah, that sounds so cute. That sounds good." The minute you put a piece of Wagyu beef on your tongue, you're like, "Oh, that's what they were talking about." The experience is mind blowing. Like you will sit there on your first bite, and it will take you about 2 minutes before you can even think what to say. The experience is extremely moving. Like it's extremely moving. Like it's that dope. Or listening to classical music on your stereo is one thing. Hearing classical music, even if you don't like it, just saying listening to it is one thing. Listening to it at the Kennedy Center in DC, it's a whole different thing. Listening to it in the Manhattan Center, it's another thing. Vienna, it's a moving experience. You're like, oh, now I see why it all comes from here. They just it's something about it. It's kind of hard to explain.
Yes. I when you're an audio nerd, when you like audio, we get it. If you're not, you don't really get it.
Have you had the opportunity to go to any concerts like you know musician performance concerts in a very acoustically sound place?
Like what do you mean? Like
Um, like listening to something say at Manhattan Center or
yeah, yeah,
at
yeah.
Madison. Yeah, what kind of concert did you go to? Why am I
I
interviewing you?
forget. But I but
I'm like,
wait,
why am I
but I
interviewing
know
Sammy?
people.
Yeah. No, it's just something when you hear it live, it's different.
Yeah.
And I know you're just beginning to catch these experiences, but when you go to hear something crazy, like there was this really cool musician back in the day called Maynard Ferguson. And I got to hear Maynard Ferguson play at the Kennedy Center when I was a little kid in school. I was probably seventh or eighth grade. And then I was like, okay, that got me. That caught the bug, right? And then I got to see Sergio Menendez in Brazil 86 at like DAR Constitution Hall or something. And then I was like, bruh. And then I saw Santana in real life. And I was like, okay, this is what I'm fixing to do. I'm going to be a musician, you know? And then I got to see Benny Goodman play clarinet at the Kennedy Center. And I'm just like, bruh. I saw Stevie Wonder at the Kennedy Center. And then after that, I became concert oriented. I mean, if I go through concerts, Van Halen, Duran Duran, God, I've seen so many concerts. It's not even funny. George Clinton and the Parliament Funkadelics. I've seen Prince in concert about 10 times. Um, the artist formerly known as. uh, yeah, I've seen Rick James in concert. Like, there's just plenty. Like, Hall and Oates, Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson, uh, man, Rolling Stones. I saw Rolling Stones in concert, like front row, really crazy. Saw the Eagles. Um, anyway, the list is way too long. I can't even think about it. I emceed a bunch of concerts from like
Yeah.
famous, up and coming people because I was in radio forever. So again, it's something about hearing that in okay, some places it's just a concert is loud, you're there because the room that it's in doesn't have acoustic
Yes.
capability, right? Other places it's like acoustically designed to sound a certain way, right? There's an arena show and then there's a concert hall show. And my brother, trust me, there's a huge difference. As an audiophile, when you hear something in a hall that is designed for that, then it's a moving experience. Again, it's hard to explain. And then hopefully pretty soon you'll be able to get out there and experience one of these guys. And then you're like, oh, let me go to the Lincoln Center and let me go hear something. I mean, even listening to Kabuki at the Imperial Kabuki Hall in Japan, there's very little music, but there's sound because of the shoes and the actors doing the opera. Like, yeah, it's I saw opera, even operas. I've seen operas in like, various places like the Lincoln Center and that. And again, it's a moving experience, bro. How you doing, Chris? Good to see you, boss. Rob's here. Hi, Rob.
Yeah. I get it. And we have been talking about audio for a lot of the show already
What
because
did they think you and
audio
I were going to talk about?
because audio is more important than video.
Yeah, that's
That
automatic coming from you
that's
and
the
me.
thing. That's the thing.
Yeah,
Audio, you can have the worst video. The worst video. And if you have a nice mic, if you invest $10, $20, $50, even if you use your headset and don't be like Lem, because Lem is like, "Don't know what you're gonna talk about," and he's overloading. Even if you use the AirPods or like the
yeah,
earbuds with your Mac, it will sound better than your built-in mic. It will
hundred
sound
percent,
better.
100%.
And
You know what's funny? You see,
what?
you see people doing this, right? So they have a headphone, it has a little nugget on it, and they be sitting there holding it and they're talking. You don't have to do that. Like it's designed to hear from here. It's actually not designed for you to do this. When you do this, you're overloading it, and the other person is dying on the other side. Like it's designed to be just like this. Like, so I can't stand when I see people in the street. Oh yeah, so Mikey, why don't you pick me up over off the corner of like 131st Street? No, like hang it down to speak. Leave it alone. Yeah, it cracks me up. Elicio, what's up, boss? He came to check to see if he used any of his fire emojis.
We live. I'm
Was
sorry,
either
Alicio. It's a good catchphrase. So
it's patented.
what?
You got to send him a royalty check now because you used it on a live stream. You're gonna get a YouTube content strike. This is trademarked Alicia Way.
Or maybe there needs to be a disclaimer that says this is made by
Yeah, there you
Alicio. But what is your favorite part of Ecamm Live? Your
I hate
favorite
to
part.
beat the dead horse, but I'm gonna say it again because it's the answer, bruh. The community. Features are easy, bruh. Features are easy. Like, I know that's crazy, but features easy. Almost anybody out there can ramp up their features to catch up. or can be even or even add something new or something better. But none of that is going to defeat the community. Our community is absolutely legit. And that's the Ecamm proper community. That's the Let's Get Live community. That's the live streaming pros community. Like our community is freaking balls to the walls, bro. It's super, it's just bomb. It's so hard to explain again because there's people that are so stuck on like this feature or that feature or whatever. Half of the features that folks are asking for or freaking out over, they don't even use in their streams. Like I can if I got to give you a pat on the back for what you're doing today, you're keeping it simple, right? There's not a lot of crazy stuff going on. There's a two shot of us, and then there's a single shot of me talking and a single shot of you talking. And we having a fantastic stream and answering people's questions, and you're not doing anything weird. you know, you're not like, oh, let me try to replicate MTV, Yo MTV Raps or call. I don't even remember the names of the shows anymore. MTV's been so weird for so long, but yeah, it's like you don't need to do that stuff, man. It's not necessary. I think of it almost as people trying to add that stuff because their show itself lacks actual substance, right? You took the time to reach out to a bunch of creators in our community. You took the time to formulate some fantastic interview questions. And you reached out, you say, hey, I want to do this. Let me interview you and whatever. That's all you really need to do. Like everything else would just be gravy. And at some point, this is too much gravy. You know, you know how horrible it is? You get to the end of the plate, you got no more biscuit left, but you still got 14 ounces of gravy. You can't lick it because your
Yeah.
heart will stop. But you're just feeling like I need more biscuit to go with this gravy. Some of y'all need to back off the gravy. I'm just saying.
And we could do this, but the thing with this is I'm being professional. I have a
Yeah.
single shot, I cut, I have an overlay or two, and that's mostly it. That's professional. You don't want those crazy effects, the crazy thing. Because if you're given information, you just need simple, less is more.
Said
Less
like a
is
true
more.
genius, bruh.
If you have 20 million scenes, that's more. Less is all you need. One camera is fine. One light is fine. Less is more. When you have more,
It's actually more things to go wrong.
yeah. And that's why I just have a mic, a camera, a capture card, an interface, a M1. That's it. Simple. I could have
Ain't
two,
doing
but it could break down.
it.
And it's gonna force me not to go live.
Bruh, you're wise beyond your years, young Jedi. That is the answer, bruh. That is the answer. Sometimes you just got less is more. You know, Carmen just put it in the chat. Sometimes less is more. And I think especially it's funny, people in one breath go, they're nervous about their stream, they're a little scared, they don't know what to do, blah, blah, blah. And then you ask them, hey, well, tell me a little bit about your show. Well, I got 17 cameras and 43 guests, and I'm bringing in a live orchestra with custom handmade Stradivari's violins, and it's like, bruh, you don't need all of that. Get an epidemic sound, a camera, a light, and two mics. Let's do this. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Dana? Dana's in the building.
Hey.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. So you're doing the right thing, boss man. I'll tell you that right now.
And the funny thing is, I'm younger than most people in Let's Get Live, and I have more
No, not
experience.
most, all.
No. I mean like you and other people. But I mean I've been
Yeah,
streaming longer than some people that are watching the stream. I started
almost
in
definitely.
2015. I haven't stopped going live. I love going live. I invested over $5,000 in equipment over the time. Or I think it's 10,000, something crazy like that. But live streaming is important. And when you don't have something to go wrong, you can go live.
There you go. That's true. It makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
That is 100% true. It definitely makes it a lot easier. And I don't think people process that. Um, yeah, I remember when I was first like getting into what's the word I'm looking for? Like um sort of higher in stake, right? When you're, a kid, your family gives you like New York strips or like porterhouse or London bro. Like basically it's beef. That's not really steak. It's not even fair to call that crab steak. And then, you always want to put sauce on it. A1, what's this here sauce? And it's literally what's this here sauce? Uh Tabasco, like all kinds of things to try to add flavor to it. But when you go to like Lowry's or Delmonico's and Peter Luger's and you have a like legit just steak, it's salt, pepper, period. And then you're like, oh, that's what steak's supposed to taste like. This is amazing. Then you just, it becomes everyone's favorite dish. And every person goes through that because when you're younger, that's what families do. They start you out, just eating rubbish. And then when you grow up and you have a good one, you're like, oh, I get it. Same with computers, like I think a lot of people start out, they just use a computer because they had to for school.
Yeah.
And then they're like, no, I'm a PC user, blah, 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 blah. And there's nothing wrong with PCs. PCs are fine. I have two. But when you start to use a Mac from a creator standpoint and you realize what the differences are and you get over, oh, it's more expensive or this and that. No, it's not just expensive for no reason. There's a reason behind it. And they're not just out here trying to like take all your money. Like, okay, that comment, by the way, drives me batty. Name a business that isn't trying to get you to give them money. Because they're not gonna be in business for long. Like that's every business's goal, you ding dong. So don't say that. That's just stupid. you know. So, but they bring a different experience to ecosystem. I think Siggy just made a video, as a PC user coming into the ecosystem, he goes, "Oh, I was wrong. I was completely wrong," because there is something about having a very tight, cohesive ecosystem where most things just flow and most things just work. And that's another thing that Ecamm brings to the table is because it's able to be written on the ecosystem where it's not wondering about an indefinite number of crazy things people might add to their system. At least with Mac oriented streaming, there's probably about 300 crazy things people can add to the system, but that's it. On the PC side, that number is 50, 60x, and it don't stop. And there's random, what kind of hub is that? Oh, it's a lottery fish fly special. Like what? Where'd you get that? Oh, at the bodega. Like what? How are we supposed to support that? Well, it should work. It looks just like and that's a common thing. Even when we're doing tech support for an old company, they would literally buy 100 Dells and the parts aren't all the same. They came out the box the same day, literally came off the truck. And as we were sitting there setting everything up, putting in drivers, we thought we were going to be cool and make a single system that can replicate itself, all the spawn to all the other machines. And it didn't work because they got like 8 different graphics cards, but we bought all 100 machines at the same time. So it's just weird like that. That's why, the ecosystem on our side is better. It's just tighter.
Yeah. And also, there's a point in case Ecamm's great on the Mac, and there's some great softwares on PC.
Oh yeah, vMix.
vMix. vMix and Ecamm are magical because when I first started using vMix, it was so much better than OBS. And when I started using Ecamm, it was so much better than OBS. And if you want to, I'm kind of not dissing, but dissing them. OBS, it's free, but when you pay for a software, it will have less problems,
Yeah.
no crashes. It works. You can
The reason
stream.
for that, Sammy, is because on open source, because anybody can touch it, it's great. And it allows it to rapidly develop. But then when it gets to maturity, they don't have a way to stop letting everybody touch it. So people start touching stuff they don't need to touch and they break it. That's the problem. The mission in of itself, every good movement is fine until it gets so big that it needs a leader. Then when the leader comes in and tries to tighten the movement up, a whole bunch of people that just wanted freedom are mad because pure unadulterated freedom doesn't exist. You know what I'm saying? Like even people here are always talking about, oh, I like America because it's free and I can do whatever. Yeah, it turns out you can't smoke in certain places. You can't drive on the wrong side of the street. You can't fly with more than 4 ounces of shampoo. Not that I need, but you know what I mean. Like there's no such thing as like completely raw, unbridled freedom. Um, Even if you're out in the woods with you and 5 people, you're kind of think you free, but you're not free because the grizzly got something to say about that. He could be like, people look delicious. Let me go get one. Watch Revenant, then you know. So I think people need to watch how they use these nebulous words that they don't really understand. They're just repeating because they think that's what other people want to hear. It's important.
Yeah. Someone
Well, wait,
says
Leo
beards need
DiCaprio beat that.
shampoo.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Mine is nice though. I don't put any flyfish guts on it though, Dana.
If you run Ecamm, what
Yes,
is
sir.
the oldest Mac that can run? I know this answer, but I want you to answer this because maybe we can have both sides. Because I know you worked at Apple, you work with Ecamm, you have many Macs. So, yeah.
You got people going to hate me, but I am actively working to change that answer. I think the answer is something like a 2012 MacBook, but I am working to change that answer
To what?
because something made in the last 5 years, the Apple's answer.
True.
That's Apple's answer. Like they deprecate the computer at 5 years, they obsolete the computer at 7, right? Why in the heck are people out here past that trying to make it stream? Type letters, fine. Surf the internet, fine.
Fine.
Draw things on Photoshop, absolutely fine. Illustrator, Augie, build a house in SketchUp, knock yourself the out. But streaming, no. Sorry. No.
This
This
is
is
my
different.
this is my idea. You should have a limit 2012 limit still, but I mean you should have it so only the Mac minis and the iMacs, because some of them are more powerful and can run Ecamm. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. There's a difference between can and should. It might work, but again, if you're doing what we're doing and you commit to only doing that, that's fine. But people ain't like that because our society is on this concept of freedom. They feel like if I bought this for this price and it turns on my machine, I expect it to work the same way as the person that's invested in, say, a 2020 fully loaded iMac, because that's fair. No, that's not fair. It's like wanting your Corolla to keep up with a 488 Spider just because they both have four wheels and an engine. They are not the same. Like, the tires on the Spider cost more than a Corolla. And it's not about a status or whatever type thing. It's engineering involved in that. There's research and development involved in that. There's just raw dog power involved in that. So if you give people that wide a window, they will not just push it, they will try to over push it. So if you set the support expectation to 5 years, which would be 2016, an actual Thunderbolt oriented Mac from 2016 and whatever. Same what Apple does. They support it for 5 years. There's parts exist for it for 7. After that, if it works, you're on your own. Bring it back to Prince. You're on your own. Let's go crazy. Let's go. Let's go. So if you want to rock something older than that limit, knock yourself out. But the expectations, the tweaking, the bending over, the duct taping, the random adjustments, all of that shit, that's all you, player. You do that. But don't be mad at the community because they cannot. That's not fair, because you decided to hold on to something like almost 10 years. Come on. In computing, come on. It don't work like that. And the people that got that know better. They just don't want to hear it. So that's what. And I'm gonna beat that horse till it turns green, because that's going to happen in my tenure. Because I don't think it's fair to the movement of the platform. One of the reasons why, again, like iOS and
Yeah.
macOS work better is they close that door faster. Trying to make it stay open longer, then you're creating problems that don't need to exist.
And you just gave me an idea.
I'm
You
scared.
you should tell people, if you should make a poll on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, whatever, and do a poll to see how many people still use a 2012,
We know
2013.
the answer.
How many? None?
I can't tell you that, but we know the answer. The logs tell the answer. Like, we already know that. We don't gotta ask.
Oh.
We know.
Because then you can send you can say Ecamm doesn't support this machine, but
They know. It's funny because all of those people know that. They just don't want to hear that. That's what I'm saying. Like, everybody that's doing something they ain't supposed to be doing, they know good and well what they doing.
because I was thinking you could tell them to buy a M1 just for
So
streaming.
I've been telling people that already. They should know. I mean, again, they should do that. Like, forget streaming altogether. Just throw the rest of that out the window. Just pure common sense.
True. You
Like, as your standard
edit.
issue, right? Because the people that be the most left field about it are the ones that have an important stream with the high, whatever guest. And it took me weeks to get this guest, and this guest was really important. And they were interviewing the Dalai Lama. Then why, if it's that important, did you not invest in, or borrow from somebody, or rent one, or do something to put yourself on a platform that would allow you to do what you knew you thought you wanted to do? Like, you can actually rent, you know what I'm saying? Like, if it's that important, but they want to come and scream victim. They want to come and complain that something didn't work a particular way. They want people to feel sorry for them or whatever. And I'm trying to, like, no, man, we got to stop doing that, because you're not helping them. If you let people stay there without giving them that push to the next thing, you're not helping them. You're actually hurting them. You're giving them the opportunity to stay where they're at. That's like, a parent that just makes a kid quiet by just keep giving them candy. Then they end up sick later on because they had too much sugar or health problems.
And the and this is what I would say. If you want to have a
I'm,
slow
try-
machine,
I'm trying to
old,
put
you can't
I'm
run
trying to put
Ecamm. And
I'm
I
trying to
will,
put Dr. Elo's comment on the screen, but
yeah.
your stream. It's your stream. I can't click it. I'm trying to click it.
And this is why we need a thing in Ecamm that the host can also click
It's
the
just
screen.
no, it's just funny because it's just a habit of seeing it. I was like, oh, that's a good one, Elo, and I try to move it over there and I can't do it. Digital Buddha. Hello, I'm David Blackman.
Hey, I'm David Blackman, and this is the SM7B. We just love
That's
to
funny.
crack jokes at David because of the SM7B, because it's a great mic.
It is. No, it's his voice. He sounds like the voice of reason. Hi, this is David. I'm the voice of reason.
Since we love Dr. Elo's comment, we're gonna duplicate it.
That's funny. That's funny. What's up, Steve? Yes. I just think, if you want to grow and do this like
A pro.
as a profession, right?
Yeah.
And most everybody that's there are really doing it professional. People love to say, well, what about the hobbyists? We actually don't have that many of them. That's not the support questions that come in freaked out because something didn't go the way they wanted it. It's always, I was in the middle of something important. I was doing this. And now maybe people say that when something goes wrong because they want more attention or whatever. Who knows? But I don't think there is enough of what people think are hobbyists to make software decisions based on hobbyists because there are not really that many of them. Most of the people that are doing this from a professional standpoint. And even what you're doing, like the minute you launched your Buy Me a Coffee page, the minute you put your show on Prime, you're no longer a hobbyist, man. You're a professional. That's you couldn't be an Olympic streaming because the minute you accept money for any portion of the competition, you no longer can be an amateur. So yeah, technically you couldn't be in the Olympics for streaming because of your Buy Me a Coffee page.
Ooh, nice.
We were just talking about steak dinners, Buddha.
That's the funniest thing. Now, this is a mixed answer for some people, but what do you think is the best camera for live streaming if you just are getting started
Phone.
and you want a great looking image and you're not going to really vlog? Maybe you have a ZV-1 or another camera that you like that is vlog.
Phone.
What?
Phone. Do 25 episodes with your phone. If you get past 25 with your phone, then buy what I tell you after that. But
And and if you want to upgrade from a phone, what camera do you recommend?
See, this is where people get it twisted. Because yes, I am talking about Sony a lot, and I talk about the Sony ZV-1 and the Sony A6400, 6100, 5100, 6600, 6300, A7 III, A7, A7R, A7R1, 2, 3, soon to be A7 IV, FC, FX3, and A1. All of the above. Knock yourself out. But if that matches your use case. See, people don't want to hear that because when we are saying we're talking about this Canon is not this good camera, we're talking specifically about the M50. If you came at me and talking about an R6 or an R5, maybe even an M6, would be like, great camera, knock yourself out. The M50 is a royal piece of, but for streaming, if you want to vlog with it, that's fine, knock yourself out. So at the time when it came out, it was good. 2018. It's not 2018 no more, right? There has been no less than 100 brand new cameras released since that are better than that by the nature of the fact that that's what happens. The time passes, stuff gets better. So to start right now, I don't think you should invest $400 in the M50. I say save it, get the next 300 and get yourself a 5100 and you'll do better in the long run. But everyone thinks like, oh, you're just this fan or whatever. They ain't paying me any money. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? But I know that autofocus is better. The low light capability is better. Pulling off a scene like what you're doing with really, really low light and targeted light and then background, whatever, you know? And again, you can use it because you already got it. Okay. Like I said, Team Renew, you already have it. So use it. You're going to jump through some hoops. You're going to do some things in order to make it work. You're going to do some duct taping, right? If you already have one, fine. If you're trying to start from scratch, I would not suggest anyone buy it, right? But if you already have one, fine, use that and hang in there until you can level up and get to, the next thing you want. And I don't think people understand that. People keep getting that twisted with something altogether different. And that's not, what we're saying. Like if you're going to start from brand spanking new, ignore that. If you're going to start with, what you already have, then knock yourself out, get to work, get those 25 to 100 streams under your belt, get your money together so you can get your gear up. And then, yeah. Yeah. I mean, you have never heard us say anything bad about C100, C200, C300. You never heard us say anything bad about the D1X. Those are great cameras. That's not the same as an M50. But everybody just wants to fight because they want to be happy about what they got. The Mark II, they lied, man. All they did was move a feature and call it a Mark II. So yeah, whatever. If you want, if it works for you, do it. But then don't say, how come I can't get my thing to look the way, this person's looks or that person's looks? Because it can't. It just doesn't know how. Just Canon's business decision.
And that's great. iPhone X, great camera. It's a newer iPhone, so it will be better than a webcam, totally. And a lot of streamers actually use phones for Zoom calls and live streams if you're starting out. And Dr. Eel says, I used my Canon M50 until I had enough money to buy a A5100. And then he got the Sigma 16, then it graduated to vlogging, and now he has the ZV1. So, if you have the money, you get started with the M50, and don't be like Alicio with 21 M50s, something crazy like that. He only has like 4, but still, he's invested in M50.
But he has a 6100 now.
And that's great. But also, the 6100 looks amazing in low light. This is 100 ISO. And I have one light, a backlight, and it still looks great. So, Sony for the win.
It's really one of those weird things because this is new. This is where we're at. Okay. Way back when DJing first started out, you had realistics, you had Vestax, you had Pioneer, you had a bunch of different turntable manufacturers out there trying to do it. The industry settled on Techniques 1200s because they were the best for that particular cast. If you were just going to sit in your house and listen to an album, you could use any turntable you want. Some were better than others, but for the most part, yeah. But if you was trying to be, put them in the Pelican case, put them in the SMB case, go from place to place to place to place, open and close it, beat them up in the van, like throw this equipment in the van, unpack it, set it up somewhere, throw it in the van, unpack it, set it up somewhere. After that kind of abuse and drunk people shaking them and whatever, the industry settled on the 1200s because they were unstoppable. All the other ones were out there. People's like, oh, you can get this one for cheaper. You can get, and everyone does that. But like, why? It was useless because they didn't work.
It's like the
They
hubs.
yeah, same thing, right? Like, you mess around, your equipment gets wet and it stopped working. And then you're like, oh, how come it stopped working? Well, because you bought the plastic one that wasn't designed to get wet. Like ours are heavy. Ours doesn't shake when someone's dancing on the floor and break dancing and doing all the weird stuff that we did back then. Like they didn't skip because the base, they were 26 pounds a piece. So when people are like, well, why am I want to pay $1,000 a piece for Technique when I get these for 300? They were 26 pounds a piece for a reason. So they had the stability to withstand the bass. I mean, you won't never get to see this because records are gone, but there were places where the bass was so loud that the turntable needle would slide right across the record because it was vibrating too much. Didn't really happen on Techniques. So again, like I appreciate all these guys that were photographers telling streamers to get this Canon M50 because it's great photos. This is not a photo, son. This is 24 photos a second. It's a different process, and it's just one of those things, right? And like June says, yes, parts, it was serviceability. Like there's a lot more to it than just, oh, it's $300 more because it's the Sony. No, dummy, they don't do that. Like no actual businesses do that. Jewelry, yes. um, like high-end restaurants, maybe, but in most physical goods, for the most part, there is a difference when you go to higher brands. Like Hermes's leather is not the same thing as leather from Lincoln Avenue or Canal Street. Just not.
And I wanted to say something. There was a
It's
little
your show.
accident. There was a little accident with my Sony. So I had it on a tripod and it fell.
Wow.
And it was one of those, and it came with the camera. It was one
Oh,
of
the
those
kit lens.
Manfrotto Pixie, and it came with the
Oh, yeah.
camera. And I was using it, and something happened, and I recalled it. It was free. Free. They did it. It took them like 2 days. They shipped it back. Canon,
Good
you would
customer
have
service.
paid couple
Good customer
hundred. And I
service.
remember I've been a long time Casey Neistat viewer. He got kind of scammed. He was doing the daily vlogs. He was doing daily vlogs for like 3 years. And he kind of got scammed because he paid $3,000 for a nice camera lens, and he calls up Canon and say, "Can you fix it?" They said no. Sony, they will. And if you are a streamer and you need something, go with Sony. And also, if you are in the budget or you have an old Sony lying around, even from 10 years ago, didn't you say there was this like good camera that you had that's like from 2010ish but it's
Yeah,
amazing and you love it.
it's, it still works. It's sitting right over
That
there.
yeah,
It's an NEX VG10.
and that was from many years ago, and you could still stream with it and it had clean HDMI, even if you get started with a camcorder for $100, and if it breaks, you can send it back, and they will send it for free.
Yep.
And I think not Canon. And Sony's more of for like the vloggers, you know. And also, we
And
have
all
to
of
blame.
that stuff comes and goes though. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
every 2 months there's another thing that's going to be slightly better
better.
or whatever. So I think people need to understand when you buy your gear, whatever gear you have today that you absolutely love, don't fall in love with it because it will get replaced soon with something better. So it's probably best not to fall in love with it. First of all, it's an inanimate object, you creep. Second of all, Second of all, something better is going to come along. And so when the nice people on the TV, magazine, blog post, vlog, whatever, tell you that what you bought is no longer in vogue, it's okay. You're correct. Let's move on. Like most people out here do not want a 37 Studebaker. I mean, it's a collector's item now, so it's worth money, but most people in general don't want one because they don't know how to drive it or how to support it, or the air conditioning is missing, or navigation is missing, or suspension is horrible, or don't know where to park it, or can't get gas, the right kind of gas, like all this other stuff. Like, yeah, it does. I mean, if you're a camera collector, cool. Like, boom, you might like it, but yeah, I don't know. It's funny, and it's always funny because we have a lot of people who there are certain things that carry over from photography to streaming, but there's a whole lot that doesn't. So just because, well, I'm a professional photographer and I have a Hasselblad, cool. Show me your Hasselblad for streaming. It don't exist. Move on. Like Fuji's are bomb for photographs. I wouldn't necessarily use one for streaming. It's not the right tool. You don't
Don't be
use
like Lem.
Yeah, you don't. I mean, Lem's cameras are Sony. He's lying to himself.
No, no.
Z6ers are Sony's.
They are Sony's?
Yeah,
How
it's a
do you
Sony
know?
with a Nikon stick because I know everything about cameras. It
Wait.
is a Sony sensor with a Nike body. I'm Nike, Nikon body.
Oh,
Nikon.
so it's still the same thing.
Yeah. What kind of camera is this?
The iPhone Pro Max
Wrong. It's a
camera.
Sony. It's an iPhone. The camera is a Sony.
How do you know?
I know everything. I swear to you, I BS you not. This is a Sony. The sensor, all of that stuff in there, that's all Sony.
So what's the Canon?
There's no Canon in any phones. That don't exist. They don't make that kind of stuff. They got not magnifying glasses. Why am I dumb?
Lenses?
They got microscopes. They got optical stuff for the top of rifles and things like that. They got optical cameras that go inside your your potato chip factory that says this chip is bad, throws it off the line. They got high speed cameras like that. They got cameras for security. They got cameras for inspecting architectural rips and steel. They have all kinds of. They do have some really nice optical stuff. It's just their consumer department on the low end, not very good. Their prosumer department on the high end are good. Their high end cameras are good. When you watch the Super Bowl, you are watching a Sony camera with a Canon lens. See, all these people on YouTube, they don't know S about broadcast gear out here starting fights that they don't even know what they're talking about. And on the average high-end camera, your 3-chip, like they don't use that anymore, but that's what the terminology was back in the day. So I'm gonna use it for explanation. Your higher end 3-chip cameras that you saw in the TV station, when you see the guy sitting in the chair going like this, look at the side of that lens. It either says Canon or Fujinon. $500,000 like box lenses sitting on the front of a television studio camera at your local news station. Those are Canon or Fujinon. So Canon knows how to make really high-end glass, high-end optics. When they started doing consumer cameras, they just took the cheap road out. you know. And on the opposite side, Sony knew how to make really high-end video cameras. Hence the reason why everything from Star Wars Episode 1 to Phantom Menace to almost every movie made after that, large majority of it was shot on Sony cinema cameras, Sony Cine Altas, Sony digital film cameras. When consumer, prosumer, wedding photographers started to get into video because YouTube started to grow, Canon saw the opportunity to make a lot of money by taking their cameras that were already in the hands of a bunch of amateurs and give them video capabilities. But video has never been their strong suit. So the 5D Mark I, 5D Mark II was out in these streets, and they were ruling it. They were ruling the world because it took amazing, amazing, amazing photos, right? Their color science on their photo game is legit. And then they started trying to do video, but they didn't know jack about video, so they were screwing it up. So people hacked it, came up with software called Magic Lantern that you could put into 5D in order to give it video capabilities that would bring it in parity to what, not in parity, but closer to what some of your Sony digital film cameras were doing and what the Reds were doing and the R reflex. So everyone got happy about hybrid shooting. What we do now with one of these is called hybrid shooting, right? It is 4K video plus decent film, decent pictures. And so Canon drove the market for like 3 years. Like they had it. It was theirs to lose. They Atlanta Falcon the out of this situation because what they did was they was like, money, 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 money. They enjoyed themselves too much. And then Sony was sitting back going, At that time, there was Cyber Shots. That was made for soccer moms. That was it. Sony was at the low end of the totem pole they did video for YouTube and stuff like that. They were busy making bloggies. I don't know if you remember one. I don't have it here. Emma has it, but they were busy making little vlog cameras that was like the flip camera. Anyway, Canon had the market. They're sitting out, got their chest all swole, thought they was cool. And the market was like, hey, you know what? Canon, we need this. Canon's like, get away from me, plebeians. They're like, hey, we need this better light capability when in video mode. Go away, plebeians. It takes pictures. They kept asking all of these questions and they ignored everybody. So Panasonic said, voila, the GH3. It handles adjustable good for lefties or lefties. Sorry, anyway, I won't fit the element again. But it did more of the video-oriented stuff. It was doing the initial like 4K stuff. Like they were bringing the heat. And then Sony was like, okay, now it's time to get in the game because Panasonic done stepped up to give Canon some problems. And now the industry on YouTube is confused. This is where the money, the Philip Blooms of the world are going. Yeah, I understand all this stuff. I got all this Canon glass, but man, it's hard to argue with this GH. But then the Micro Four Thirds sensor is too tiny. So Sony goes, all right, Lego. So they go over to Minolta and they're like, Minolta, your photography game is legit. We make some of the best real actual pro level ESPN basketball game, NFL, MLB, NHL. We make those cameras. We make all of the cameras that make all of the movies, all of the Avengers, all of that stuff you be watching, all your Spider-Mans and all of that stuff, Sony Pictures. We make all of that. Let's take some of our technology and stuff it into one of your Minolta bodies. And then you came up with this. And Canon was like, ha, 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 that's cute. And then the reviews came out. And Canon went, holy, we're screwed. And they have never caught up. That was circa 2014, 15. And they have never caught up. They have been chasing their tails ever since. And they keep now making catch-up mistakes. And when you start losing by too much, you just make catch up mistakes, and they just keep making catch up mistakes, and that's it. On their high end level, they're fine. Again, where Dana has legit cameras. Like I've shot plenty of stuff with that. If you fly Hawaiian Airlines, there's about 3 movies on the back of the headset that I shot with my buddy, shot on Canon, C100s. They're dope. But that's not what you get when you buy an M50. Y'all do not get it twisted. It's not the same. You know what I mean? That's like comparing the Corvette to the what's that thing called? The Neon or Geo. Sorry, whatever the small Chevy is. Malibu. There we go. It's not the same. They're both Chevys, but that's where it stops.
Yeah. And some people are saying that Canon M50, it's all because of Diana.
Don't blame her.
What?
You don't blame her. That was your wallet. You did it.
But still.
If you listen to some YouTuber tell you to buy some without you doing your research, that's your fault. Nothing drives me more maddy than everybody trying to blame somebody else. Like a lot of people will blame it on Think Media because they're still to this very day telling people that it's a good camera. And I wish I could get them in the room and tell them to stop because it's not. And I will pontificate as to why it's not. And then they'll be like, you're right. They're not doing it to be malicious. They're doing it because it's easy. It's easy to give people an answer that makes them feel inclusive because they can go spend $400, but it's not the right maneuver now.
The thing
in 2018, it was fine.
This is the funny thing, is Sean doesn't use the Canon M50. He uses a Sony and Lumix GH5 for when he does his live streams. So none of them are using actual Canon. They are mostly using Sony's and.
You know what Omar Takor uses?
What? CV1?
Yeah. I'm just saying,
Victor one.
If you watch the whole channel and you look at what's actually going on, you'll see that. But nobody wanted to hear that. What's his name? Moltz uses Canon, but he also has R6. Matt and Peter, they use high ends. It's the same. I don't know, man. It's like it's easy to blame somebody else for your dumb mistakes. That's all there is to it. Like just nut up or just accept it as a mistake and work your way out of it. Like it's not wrong. Just you did it. Like we all did it. I was Logitech C920 for about 4 years, and then I wasn't. Once you know the difference, you stop. Game over.
But I'm just going to say, if you just type in still Canon M50 lady, Diana pops up.
Why would you do that?
I was curious. She's like, today we're going to be talking about the Canon M50. And it's from like 2018.
Yeah, well, that's the first problem. If it says tech and the video is 2 years old, stop. Just turn it off.
That's the thing. Yeah.
That's pure logic.
Sony ZV-1 and NT1 USB. Any thoughts?
You won. Start making content.
Sony ZV-1, killer video. Don't you love the ZV-1?
All day. It's my favorite camera right now.
Did you ever press the defocus button yet?
I use it all the time when it's on the overhead.
Because I feel like the ZV-1 could, if they do another iteration that makes it a little bit better, that could be the perfect. Because if you're a traveler and you want a simple setup, you can use it and still get the blurry background.
Yeah, I mean that's what it's
great.
for. That was his entire. That was its value proposition. I don't think people understand that word, and they should. That was its value proposition. That was 108.17% what it was designed for.
So
So
you can have a nice looking pocket camera with blurry background.
yeah, built-in live streaming.
Yeah.
Just pop a cable into your computer and game over. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen next. What Samsung did way back in the day, and I was on the beta squad for that. Probably the next version of this will have built-in 5G, and you take it to AT&T, you put your plan in, and you just go like this. Pop up, hey gang, we live. Dun, 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 dun. That's what's coming. Because people are going to start to realize that it's not just the phone. You need a little bit more camera for pro level vlogging type stuff and live streaming, and that you will see what Samsung started eons ago is coming back. Matter of fact, the Zeiss camera has it built in, but $6,000.
Ow. Psh. Moan Plot. Wow. So I think we're gonna be wrapping this up because we went over time. Actually, I thought it was going to be an hour, but we were dropping the info. So if anyone has any more questions for it, and we can take some Q&A. But if there's not, we're gonna say bye, and we're gonna say we're not live.